Hello, everyone. This is the Rhythm Doctor Lounge Survey 2018 analysis. There's no good way to say this, is there? I'm just gonna say welcome to the analysis that you've all been waiting for all these years, even though it's only been like a couple weeks. I was thinking about starting with just the summary results here, but I actually want to start with the individual results because a few of those stood out to me, and then we're gonna jump into the summary. So we're starting off with response 3 here. Because they said, well, aside from their other things, they said that they love Ladybug jamming in voice chat, and everyone politely listening. And Ladybug would it'd be nice for Ladybug to play piano more. They said that I don't like how it seems that only one admin actually has power. There's no delegation, and it doesn't seem like you guys communicate. Also, arguing about something for the sake of quote, it's already like this. Why would we change it? Is like arguing against a wall, and you guys do it all the fucking time. Well, you're right. We do that argument a lot. We do say like it's already like this, why would we change it? But the thing is, though, actually, if I jump into the summary results here, boop, bottom here, like even in this question, you see a lot of people saying like, "Oh no, there's no problems with the server. It's fine. It's run smoothly. It's too nice even." So like, it's easy to fall into that kind of mental trap that, oh, there's no problems with the server, so if we change something, people are gonna start liking it less. That's not the case, obviously. And I feel like a lot of us as mods and admins might believe that if we change something, maybe people will like the server less, which is why there's kind of a fear to not change anything. But I feel like we've been a bit better with that recently. How we at least I tried to be better with it, because just because something is good doesn't mean it can't be improved, obviously. So that's my feelings about that. Otherwise, that is not the right button. Otherwise, I don't really get why you say only one admin has power. I guess you mean the server creator, right? That's the thing with Discord. We really can't work around that. Only the server creator has access to certain things and other things like that. But if you mean like things like for Sean's statistics thing, like those he has those formats, no one else does, and we prefer for him to run it. That's kind of why he does that. Because I know at the time of the survey, he was the administrator of the server owner as well. Um, Otherwise, I can kind of see why you would say one admin would have power, because like they only distribute the strikes and stuff like that. Sometimes only they do anything about a problem. I mean, I've been trying to alleviate that. Um, but otherwise, I'm not sure where you're coming from with that. Only one admin has power kind of statement. Because those would be my two first guesses. Um, there's no delegation. That's true. We don't really delegate much, and I would argue that it's fine. It's fine that we do that because I feel like if you delegate when you have so many mods, because keep in mind that not all of our mods are online at the same time. So if we say only X mods can delegate to this now, and that means if those mods go offline, we can't do that. But obviously, even if we did apply that to only mods that are online at a given time, right, it still limits our mod base. It still limits people who can do things to a certain time. If you say only you can give out strikes, only you can moderate the trading cards room, well, not so much anymore. Things like that. I prefer for our mods to be like, that's why I don't want to delegate. Really, I want our mods to be more useful, basically. Now, in times like when we have RDSRT running and we have the competitions to look after and things like that, of course we would have to delegate. But those times, I feel like we're handling it well pretty now, and we're not delegating any much with the RDSRT and stuff. So I don't know. I don't think we'll need to delegate really. Maybe in the future. I can't really say now though. It doesn't seem like you guys communicate. That's a problem we do have at times where mods would just go ahead and do things instead of, telling that to other members of the mod team. Now, if you're just looking at Infodesk, I can see you can get that impression that we don't really communicate. But the fact is that Infodesk is more of a show. Like, we just do things there for fun. We pretend that we're not all on the same page. We pretend that things like that. We kind of overblow it. We overblow things like, oh, just some communication error, things like that. Other things like, I at one point Okami created a channel that none of us would know was none of us knew that Okami was doing. So that was weird. I know I've been trying to push like everyone saying something in staff chat before they actually do something. And sometimes you don't have any other mods online, so you just have to do things. So yeah. And yes, Kyle does draw cute art. All right. I believe the next one on my list was 7, I want to say. I found it. It was number 8. This person said all the way at the bottom here that they don't enjoy all the user polls deciding how to run the server. Now, there's a bit of a miscommunication here. The user polls aren't deciding how to run the server. They're just another part of data, another point of data we're taking in as mods. Because like as moderators, right? Let me pull up Discord here. Let me pull up Discord in the future from this survey anyway. As moderators, we don't like to just make decisions, right? Well, I should rephrase that. We don't like to make decisions blindly without any kind of input, without any kind of feedback for user input, right? It's like take the bot poll for example, right? If we just change the bot to Fokabot, if we just changed the bot to Himebot, and didn't say anything about Fredbot, at all, the situation would turn out a lot differently than just sending out a poll, having people be informed of each bot and their capabilities compared to Fredbot, things like that. And there's a whole bunch of other surveys that can just do too. Now, like this especially for general, we would have totally just got rid of general and just made waiting room the HQ, because well, not all the mods were behind that, but a lot of them were. And if we were to just take the census of the mods here, something a lot of people wouldn't have agreed on would have happened. And there are certain ways that this has no effect, or this doesn't really do anything. For example, with old speaker and with the FAQ, the majority of what the mods would have chosen happened anyway. But I feel like, because okay, let me I need to reiterate here that the polls aren't deciding like what exactly happens in the server. That's not the case. The polls only decide only like give us, they're basically, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna repeat myself. They're for user feedback. And we don't just take the polls into account, obviously. Sorry, I was trying to full screen the Discord here. There we go. I had other things I was gonna say here too. That's all that's coming to mind right now, though. The mods do have the option to veto anything that happens in the poll. The mods have the choice. We're not slaves to it. Is my point here. We're not slaves to the poll. We're not slaves to the user polls here. So if the users decide to sabotage the polls, for example, we don't have to follow a decision. We can just do what we want. That said, I know there's some problems with user polls. I've been trying to alleviate them. Things like users not being able to change their vote, for example. That I've been trying to alleviate with poll.me. Well, that's kind of going over well. I'm gonna keep going with it for a couple more polls to see if I'll stick with it or not. There are a couple of problems like me deciding it too quickly, for example, with the channel list, because everyone, I in retrospect, I do realize that I made the decision on that poll way too fast. First thing important as the channel list, I thought a week would be enough, but a lot of people didn't even get to the survey in that week. That kind of makes me wonder what is enough, like a month? Like it's kind of hard to know. For this survey, I left it open for a month because the survey I based it off of leaves them open for a month, so I decided to go with that. Actually, it was a little bit less than a month, just because, well, the survey I was basing it off of releases videos like, let's say, like 3 times a week. No, sorry. Once every 3 days. That's very different. Or so. So I was kind of going over that because everyone has access to the server every day. It's not like you can only access certain times kind of thing. So that's why I decided to leave it open just a little bit less than a month. In the future, if the server gets any bigger, well, it gets much bigger actually. I'll probably leave it open for much longer. I just don't want people to forget about it or the like of that. So there's that. Now I'm actually just gonna cut again because I know I don't remember where the next one is. Okay, we have 3 pit stops on the way to our next problem here. First of which is number 10. This response was, it said, I guess down here. They love the voice chat activities, but there's usually a data/Wi-Fi connection limit, so I can't always join or lag. Don't know how to fix that. Just a comment. Well, actually, if I were to take you to some behind the scenes kind of stuff here, every voice chat channel we can change the bitrate of. We can also change the user limit. So if you're having trouble connecting, we could always lower the bitrate. Let us know. We can probably accommodate that if there's a lot of users in the voice chat. Otherwise, excuse me. Otherwise, we'll just leave it at 64 for now. At times we might increase it, at times we might decrease it. That's it for hallway. For waiting room, on the other hand, wrong button. For waiting room, we always leave it at 128. That's why it's high quality. All right. Oh, that wasn't it. Okay. That was the end of that comment. All right. Next pit stop is number 14. Who said, where was it? It was down here. Not aware of the existence of Trivia Night. It would be great if a mod hosted voice chat events could be given a date ahead of time. I really haven't hosted many voice chat events since this survey was taken. For future events I host, I will probably give out a date. I know for Cards Against Humanity games, I've been trying to give out a date, but no one's really been interested anymore, which is unfortunate. Yeah, a few people actually expressed to me they weren't aware Trivia Night or what was the other thing I put? WikiHow's this year was really a thing, because apparently WikiHow thing only happened twice. I thought it happened more times before I was here, but I guess not. So that could really explain why. Actually, I'm gonna jump into the summary here. That could explain why people weren't really as interested in Trivia Night and WikiHow, because they haven't happened as much. But comparatively to WikiHow, which only got like one more person more interested in than who enjoyed it, former people were interested in Trivia Night. So that's something we could definitely consider doing in the future. Well, more so than we were already planning. All right, back up to the individual responses because there's one more one I get to, which is number 19. This one was over here. Yeah. So this person said that they enjoyed Dissoy's review dumps, and I do as well. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of people do. A lot of level creators, especially. They're also wondering if anyone else would like to make similar batch of reviews, and we can get 2 different opinions on most custom levels. Yes, a second opinion is a very good thing. This is partly the reason we started that Saturday level review thing. What? I think that's in the letter, probably. The pin. That's why we started that Saturday level roundup thing. I know we weren't able to follow up with that this week. That's because, well, that was the week that Phelps posted his video, and we had to I don't want to use the word roundup. We had to aggregate all the Portuguese speakers in Sister Ritmo. I don't know. I'm not gonna pronounce things terribly. I'm sorry. Anyway, that was that person, and now our next stop is actually all the way at number 40. So went past it. All right. This person said at the bottom here that Satellite seems dead. Their last post in the showcase was 6 months ago, and they've been pretty active in the Chinese-speaking channel and other mod chats and real life things and stuff. But it's kind of weird to see someone who is pretty active just disappear as a mod. That's the thing. This is actually the reason we. This is okay. Let me start from the beginning here. Is that Satellite was brought on the mod team to almost exclusively to moderate the Chinese-speaking channel. Otherwise he really wasn't brought on as a moderator for the main chats. He was really just there to moderate just that channel. So that's why we kind of have to motivate him to have access over that channel, but nothing really, not much else. Like for example, he can't ban users. He can delete messages other than messages in the Chinese speaking channel. Things like that. That's why we took this principle and we applied it to the Portuguese speaking channel as well. And I think it's gone okay so far. I've actually been meaning to ask how how the Portuguese kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not transition, because we didn't transition from anything. How the accommodation was really handled. Because I feel like it's been mostly good. There's been a couple things there's been quite a few things we've done. We've done a little bit oddly, a little bit strangely. Purple. All right. Now I'm gonna cut again because I don't remember what the next one was. Okay, before we get to our final few stops, I do want to go backtrack to a few we passed right over. One of them I believe was number 23. Let me double check. No, which one was it? I actually did write it down this time. It was 24. One off. The wrong way. This person I just want to point out. I mean, I don't mean to be mean or anything, but they rated most of the mods either ineffective or very ineffective, and that's whatever. I mean, if they hate us, they hate us, but that's not what my point is here. My point is also that they also rated the new rules as a 7, and they also rated that they're very comfortable in the launch itself. So either this was a troll, or they actually hate us, or it was a misclick. The mods and I actually discussed this one because this result was a little bit strange to us. We think it might have been a misclick because very effective is on this side and very ineffective is on this side. And for like every other survey you usually take using Google Forms or any kind of format like this, I don't know how many of you are well versed in taking surveys, but mostly effective is on this side, and very ineffective is on this side. So we kind of swapped it, which may have led to this, or they just hate us. If you hate us but also like the rules and like what we're doing here, then I'm very interested in your opinion. The next one was 32. We passed over. This person said they really haven't been part of any events as they joined quite recently. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the survey. If I can talk here. Yeah, thank you for taking it, because I know a lot of people who are new might not want to take a survey that they don't really know much about the server. Thank you for coming to the server. Thank you for staying, etc., etc. Well, I hope you stayed. All right. Our next stop here is number 42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. This person I wanted to point out because they said they only joined to get dev and news updates about Rhythm Vector itself. So those are basically the newsletters when you think about it, and you get those through the mailing list. So if you feel like you need to stay here just to get dev and news updates, then I mean, we really haven't been posting development and news updates about the game itself. Mostly it's been about the server and like contextual server things. If you want to stay for events like the RDSRT going on, or other similar things like competitions that involve the game heavily but aren't about the game's development, you could stay for those. If you don't, I mean, that's fine. This is actually also the only person who had found Rhythm Vector through coverage at a game website. That was interesting. Yeah. See, asking me as a admin about the development and news updates, I really can't do much about that because I'm just an administrator and I'm not a developer. Based on what the year or so of the survey of the server so far is that they really haven't been posting news about the development of the game. They've really only been posting about the news of the level editor. And like there's been the occasional post about the Switch release, for example, but again that was from a newsletter that was talked about in a newsletter. So like if you're here for development and news updates, I don't know what to tell you. You can follow Twitter as well. That's what I can tell you. That's what I would suggest. Okay, and our last stop is the last response, because this person said at the bottom that there are a heck of a lot of channels, but it's manageable for now. Yeah, that's the thing with this, is that we have a lot of channels, but the strange thing about even not counting the mod chats, we have a lot of channels. And the thing is that's strange about this server to me is that there's a lot of channels, but they're all required. They're like all used. Like custom assets is used in respect to level showcase, for example. The RDSRT chat's been used a lot, and the events channel doesn't even stay around all the time. Editor, well, RDSRT is a whole other thing. Like a level editor, showcase, that's all used a lot. Every one of these channels is used in different ways. So, like we have a lot of channels, but we really can't stopped using or consolidating many of them. Anyway, so that's it on individual responses. I'm gonna jump onto the summary responses after the cut. Okay, back to do the summary. I'm gonna start off with what probably most people are here for is the Rhythm Doctor specific questions. When did you first find Rhythm Doctor? I found it pretty funny that 7.7% of people exactly came from 2012. Also, thank you for staying, because it's been 6 years now and it's been a wild ride. It's interesting to see that most people came from that initial web demo period, the 2013 and 2015, and the least amount of people came from 2016, and that makes sense because that's when the closed beta period was. So the game wasn't really getting as much publicity as it was. 2017, 2018 was really when the game started going crazy with the cons and such. So I'm not surprised that's where the most press came from. So that's probably where most people found it, or it's from the Discord server. We didn't ask a follow-up question to see if people, or we didn't even ask it in here to see if people first found it through the Discord server. Because I figured if people found it, they already went to the Discord server. That's what I mean. So yeah, it's interesting that most people found it in 2017. A lot of people found it in 2017, 2018, since the Discord server is opened. That's the next biggest group aside from everything else. And at the time this was taken, 2018 was only halfway over. And how'd you first find it? Overwhelming majority found out this through a simple search for rhythm games, which isn't surprising when you just consider that rhythm is literally in the name. This was actually recently done in the Discord server. I actually can't bring it up because I don't remember when it actually was, but we actually did just do a test to see how quickly the game comes. Actually, I can do it now. I can just search right now. Rhythm. Not rhythm. Rhythm games. And Rhythm Doctor is literally the first result after the whole thing here of Google results. That's pretty crazy considering it comes even before Wikipedia. So it shows that the game's gotten a lot of popularity with the demo, so that's really good. This might get bigger or smaller after the game comes out on Steam. Who knows? Friend recommended it to me. I actually expected this category to be much bigger because I know I recommend this game to a lot of people who like Rhythm Heaven and that kind of style of rhythm games. But I guess it hasn't either caught on or just those people don't stay or whatever. Because again, this is a very small sample size. This is about 5% of the server. So this can apply to the entire server as a whole, but not effectively. It's a small sample size is my point here, so we can't use it as an end-all be-all of everyone's opinions. Custom levels on YouTube, I put that basically exclusively for Not All Dante's channel. Or is it Dante? I don't know. And demo/review videos. Those are basically, I put that for all YouTube videos actually. So I know a couple people actually put on here. Hello. They put another YouTuber. They put Maximum. Put a Let's Play a 2013 demo. That's all under demo/review videos for me. That's all content of the demo, unless they're just talking about it in some other way. So that's not another thing. Billy. Excuse me. I did the research of this. This is some kind of Chinese video sharing website, something of that sort. So I might consolidate all this just as a video sharing websites or something similar to that, some kind of similar title. I don't know. Tell me about it. Give me feedback here. Found the Redemptive Fire and Ice. I probably should have put Redemptive Fire and Ice on here in the first place because I know a lot of people find that game first and then find Rhythm Doctor. Don't recall how you found that. Randomly bump into it, didn't even search. I guess it's possible you could have just found it through a random link somewhere, right? I was expecting conventions to be way bigger, honestly. Just because I know the game's in a lot of conventions and I know it's pretty popular there. But I'm surprised there was actually no one to check that. So I guess either people who've seen it at conventions already know about the game, or they just didn't know. Or they just don't stay. That's also another possibility. Image board actually really surprised me. I don't even know how you would find this game in an image board. I guess you find just an image of it, and then you have to find it, then you just look it up otherwise. Kind of weird. I made this question mainly because Reddit is actually how I found the game. And I know it was on the front page of the web game subreddit, so I was expecting it to be a bit bigger actually, but it's pretty big considering the sample sizes and considering what everything else is. Alright, on to demographics. Oh, also, thank you guys for answering this question. Everyone answered this question, even though no one had to. It wasn't required. On to demographics. We're mostly male here on the server. So if you don't prefer not saying, if you're female, it's nice to see that we have some female representation here, but I'd like to see more. Obviously, ideally for any kind of group, you'd want to see a 50-50 split or something close to that. I know for gaming demographics, that's not always possible. So, basically, I'd want to see the female group as large as possible. I want to see them, but obviously, still see male representation. I don't feel like this game, gender-wise, is trying to appeal to a certain demographic. So, yeah, again, like I want to see that kind of 50-50 kind of even out here. How old are you? We have an overwhelming majority of teenagers here. And considering that the game first came out in 2012, got popular in 2013, the demo, most of these people would be teenagers when the game first came out, and now they just gotten older. So that's interesting. A couple of people are younger than 10, are younger than 10 or 10 to 12. So that's not entirely surprising, considering the game was very, colorful kind of style to it. It's very unique. We have one person who's 55 years old, or over 55. I hope this question didn't make you feel old. That's what I have to say for that. And thank you, of course, for staying in the server with a bunch of teenagers and young adults. But no, seriously though, thank you for staying around. It's nice to have someone that old in our community and things like that. Assuming it wasn't just a troll, which I don't know why you'd do that. If it was. Alright, first language. I'm not surprised overwhelming majority is English, because this is a majority English-speaking server. After that, you see next is probably, it's Chinese. Cantonese is similar, but not quite. But Tagalog, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce things. I'm sorry. Malay, Mandarin. That simplified Chinese, and I don't know what this reads, but it's probably something like Chinese or Cantonese. So a lot of kind of that area of the Pacific. After that, though, we do see some other stuff. We see Spanish, we see Russian, which there actually isn't a translation for the editor. So that'd be interesting to check out, maybe. Korean, and then we see other things like French, Polish, Romanian, and Spanish. Oh no, I already said Spanish. My bad. We took this survey before Phelps' video hit the big time. So otherwise, we'd probably see a large group of not a decently large group of Portuguese speakers here. What country do you live in? Again, we might see more Brazil or something, or maybe even Portugal. I don't think so though. But right now I just put a fill-in. So because of that, we have United States, we have USA, US, U period, S period, the United States of America, and America, all as separate options. Which I'm going to put multiple choice next time to alleviate that. After that we see China, we see Canada, of course, which is also another English-speaking country. But after that we see Russia, which actually kind of surprised me as number 3. Then we see things like let's see, Argentina, Australia, China. Well, two things of China. One's People's Republic. One just says China. France, Malaysia, South Korea, and Russia. I said Russia already. Oops. Sweden, UK, and United Kingdom. So we got people from all around the world here. The only major region we're actually missing is India. And like that kind of region in general. I think that's called South. I think that'd be South Asia, I guess you'd call it. I'm not actually sure. Anyway, how comfortable do you feel in Rhythm Doctor Lounge? Wait, never mind. Oh wait, I remembered. Favorite music genre. This should have been in demographics. I'm sorry. I only remembered it after I went into server specific. The reason this question was actually here, other than just for fun, obviously, was that the server I took this based off of has a question like this to limit its user base, to limit, because it uses SurveyMonkey for its analysis, and that limits it to like 5,000 or so. So it does that to make sure you can actually see all the user results. But that's a tangent. Not really surprised to see that electronic and jazz are the most popular. We have a ton of electronic subgenres: chiptune, EDM, electrofunk, electronica, trap, things like that. So yeah, that's not really surprising considering this is a rhythm game community. Those are pretty much the most popular genres in rhythm games, in my opinion. Other than that though, alt rock, very good genre, Anything but country music. Classical, also a good genre. Never heard of Indie-tronica before. And other than that, preferences, vaporwaves, basically anything Japanese. Well, at least you're honest. Is meme a genre? Well, at least you're honest. Video game music counts, I would think. And house. I also like house. Good stuff. All right. On to the first big question here. How Oh wait, no. Start at the beginning here. How comfortable do you feel in Rhythm Theater Lounge? This one was required. It's good to know that majority of people do feel comfortable. And I'm also glad that no one felt uncomfortable. This is what I was worried about actually making this question, that some people just weren't saying anything, but also like, how do I phrase this? Some people like gave the impression that they were comfortable, but also didn't feel comfortable at all. But I'm glad that wasn't really the case. People who don't really feel that comfortable, like, I understand that, right? If you don't really get too invested in a community, you can't really feel extremely comfortable in it. I just hope we don't come off as like alienating or just like bad people in general. If we do, talk to Ahmad about it. That's the number one thing you should do. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid just because the mods are comfortable with certain groups of people. Just because it seems like we get along with certain people on the Discord server. Don't be afraid to message us anyway. We're open to all voices here. Yeah. I'm gonna come back to this question. I'm gonna jump into how do you feel about the new rules next? Again, it's similar to the last question. It's good to know that most people like the new rules, or think they're okay. If you're one of these people, in group 3 and group 4, please, tell us what your problems are with the rules. We've been trying to work on fixing them. I know someone mentioned Rule 8, and we are probably going to reword that in the future. And again, it's good to know no one absolutely hates the new rules. So yeah. I'm gonna go into this one next. How effective or useful do you feel the following mods are? Now, this question's a little bit moot at this point because we have gone through staff changes at this point. Sean has a pretty even spread. People think he's effective, ineffective, and neutral, probably pretty much equally, which is interesting. Okami has left the mod team at this point, but people actually did think Okami was pretty effective. I'm not sure how true that is because I know before they left, Okami was a lot in Insomniacs, and I'm not sure how you call that effective. But other than that, they have put it forth, strikes and rule things like that. I can't say they were entirely useless. Obviously, that'd be mean. I'm kind of humbled that everyone thinks I'm very effective. Usagi and Helix, I want to point out because people might think they're not that active and might think they're not, too effective. Helix has said before that he always looks at the chats, and there had been times where, because he's actually told me that he does have quite a few of the chats muted just so he can focus on his work. That's okay. I just told him to have the staff chat muted because as administrator, like, what I really care about most for other mods is to have the staff chat unmuted and paying most attention to that chat, because that's where we post everything basically in regards to moderation and stuff. We post people who GM us, people who whenever we say we let the mods know for anything, that's where we post it. We post context for stuff in the server that's happening. We might want to give out strikes, things like that. It always goes to the staff chat, or should always go to the staff chat. That's why I said before about trying to increase communication. So Helix, he does pay attention to the staff chat. So does Usagi, and Usagi has been having computer problems and limitations with her access to the internet recently. So she's been trying her best to moderate. I think she's been doing pretty good, honestly. Otherwise, yeah, Satellite was demoted to like the Chinese channel mod. This is pretty busy most of the time. Well, busy as in he moderates a lot. TV was also demoted as well. So yeah, that's how that is. Otherwise, for the existing mods, we'll continue to poll them. We'll continue to poll this question, and we'll see, if the amount of ineffective and very ineffective increases over time. If it does, we might have to consider about demotions. As of right now, we only essentially have one data point right now, so I don't want to jump ahead and do things right now. All right, on to this part now. What content/events do you enjoy in the server? This is actually the last question we had because we already went over most of these long forms. I went over the important part here with the WikiHow and stuff. Otherwise, it's nice to know that people enjoy these week of spotlights. We're definitely gonna keep doing those. As long as Kyle has ideas for them. The SSSS, we're not gonna stop those as long as Sean's still in the server, right? I know I enjoy them. I'm sure I'm clearly a bunch of other people do as well. Half people who responded essentially. Let's see here. Actually, over half, 51.1% says right there. A lot of people like the user polls, which I'm glad people have been liking that decision. I'm liking that people, it's been received well and stuff like that. Puzzles, of course people like puzzles. Large scale voice chat, we went over that before. People want more various gaming events. That's definitely the one people are looking for more of. As for that, I would say be the change you want to see in the server, right? Like if you have a game that other people have, then just host it, right? I know I host Cards Against Humanity sometimes. I know Jackson and I have hosted Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes in the past. That's been tricky to get around though, because of the lag in Discord chat. Otherwise though, there's a bunch of different, separate ones here. Ladybug, jamming VC, like I said before, just Posito memes. Sessions again, monthly competitions. I was considering putting monthly competitions on here. The thing with that though is that we're not gonna have those really more than once a month, but that's changed since then. we're having a lot more now. Game release, don't we all? And Insomniacs, okay. Yeah. More news updates, fine. Yeah, we went over all these. All right, so that's about it for this. I want to leave off with one of these comments. Great game, server. Looking forward to release. Hoping for more to do with trading cards eventually, and would really like to play that particular level of Beta 5 at some point. But generally, it's awesome. So it's a shame trading cards is left, but that's how it goes. What credits? All right. So yeah, in the future, I do plan on taking the survey again. Just to compare data over time, mostly, because I'm expecting a lot of this to change after release, or it would be interesting if it did change over release, is really what I mean. If you guys have any feedback for the questions in the survey, like if you think something was worded poorly or something wasn't organized right, like the like this question here, please let me know. I'll try to change them. I'll try to, if you think I should add more questions, please, I'll go ahead and do that as well. Any feedback you have for the survey itself, tell me. If you have any feedback on the answers I gave for the long form responses, especially, please let a mod know or put it in complaint center or something of that sort. Otherwise, guys, thank you for watching this analysis, I guess I could say, and I guess I'll see you next year with my wonderful voice for this. One more thing. I know I mumble a bit. If you guys didn't understand something I said, please let me know. I won't be able to provide a whole transcript for this video. That would take too much time, but I'll clarify anything you guys don't understand. So thank you for watching, and have a swell day, I guess.